Thoughts on that, guys? Staffy, my man, he finally turned up Amrabat today. I was well happy.
Yeah, KJ, get back on the screen, bro. This absolute fraud. Get him back on the screen, because last week he said, "Oh, remember you got the Amrabat take wrong." But it's not a coincidence, bro. First of all, big up for having me. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in the U.S. I'm gonna go visit my mom in a little bit, but I had to get my my little input on the game.
Yeah, football is far more important. I agree.
Yeah, I told her she gotta wait. I told her when the United game is done and the shows are done, I'll come visit you. Word to word, I actually told her that. But listen, Amrabat turned up, and it's simple. It's actually quite simple. I'm here for one section of the fan base only. The fan base that made all the excuses for Ten Hag to why he's been getting battered because of injuries. Today we still had injuries. How come today we didn't get battered? It's simple. Football is such a simple sport that it's complicated by the people, and I don't understand why. Today, there's no coincidence that when you put, I'm going to quote the almighty great Greasy Dunn when he says, put the players in their best positions and they'll perform. Today, you played your only six in the six, and he actually played well, and our midfield looked well. For the people who don't know, this is the second time we've ever run this midfield this season. A pivot of Mino and Amrabat has been used twice this season. Once at Anfield, we saw a 0-0 draw, and today, we conceded a goal, which, to be honest, I can't really blame the structure of the midfield for it. It was more of an individual error. So Amrabat himself today, like I'm happy for him because he did well, but at the same time, you look at the manager and you question, why did it take you this long to finally start playing better plays in their own positions? Amrabat Mino today looked well. The back line actually didn't look that bad outside of Casemiro. What's his name? Ahmad today, getting his first start. I think it's his first start. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. His first start versus Arsenal. Not an easy game to come into. And he comes on and he looks like our best attacker today. It makes you question why the manager took him this long to start making these changes. And this is what the issue that I have with the Ten Hag inners. They'll make every excuse for him, but when he actually changes things because he's forced, we tend to look better. Why do you have to be forced to make these changes every time? You know damn well today, if Rashford was available and Bruno was available, you wouldn't have seen this midfield. Well, we arguably lose today with a higher score if he doesn't play this midfield. So this is the frustration I've always had with this guy. And this is why I never made injuries as a main excuse to why we lose so many games. Because today you proved to me that you can set up the team better. The structure looked better. Yes, it was on Arsenal to leave us the ball today. And I agree with Mo. Mo said this earlier. He said, Arteta banked on giving us the ball and it worked out for him. I agree with him. And I told Saad that yesterday we were talking about the game and I told him that's how I would approach the game for Arteta. Because they're going to go for the long ball. Hojlund is not going to be able to hold up the ball, and you guys will win it again. The thing about them today, I don't really felt like they wanted to expand. They didn't want to play risky football. They'd rather stay compact and just win the game. And to be fair, you scored early, so you didn't need to take risks, and it worked out. So at the end of the day, when I'm keeping it about my team, when I look at Ten Hag, I'm asking you questions. Why did you set us up poorly all season when the solution was there? The solution has been there. And I don't even want to dwell too much on Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Casemiro, by the way. I mean, the more I talk about them, the more the fans get annoyed of me saying everything repeatedly, and I'm tired of repeating myself. Casemiro, a complete sabotage job. You look at him, bro, the guy is actually sabotaging the team at this point. Gives away the ball, too lazy to run back, and doesn't even cover the front post. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I told people this for a while, and every time I see Sophia, I just think of Aaron Wan-Bissaka because she knows it. Like, you know the debate we've been having for a while. We've been talking about it for years. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, cash money, always bet on this. He's either going to play someone on side or he's not going to cover the post. Today he didn't cover the post. It was only Trossard in the box. How can you not cover him? He's the only one there. So it's not a coincidence. The two worst players that I've been calling up for a while cost us the goal today. I want to say one more thing before I move on to someone else. I feel like we play with 10 men every game. This Hojlund guy, I swear, it always feels like we're playing with 10 men. This guy is being carried every fucking game. Offers nothing on and off the ball. And I understand you want to talk about conversion rates and chances created for him and how many goals Messi scored at what rate and all that. All that is fine. But he offers nothing outside of that. Like, he really doesn't. And I can't have a striker who's 70-something million who can't give me anything off the ball. Today, he was horrific.
Yeah, he was good today.
Hojlund was good.
No.
Hojlund was good today. I thought he was a menace and he was getting himself involved, holding up the play. I thought he was a big part of what he did today. Look, there's obviously room for improvement for Hojlund. 100%, I agree with you in that respect. But I think what he's given you overall in a really bad United team this season, I think there's been more positives than negatives from his aspect. He's definitely not a part to blame in his Man United team.
What are you talking about, brother? He's given it. His hold-up play is non-existent.
That's not true today, Safi. That is not true. That is not true today. He only had the ball passed to him on 17 occasions today. That's in terms of that. 15 of them were opportunity for him to hold the ball up. He lost possession in one of those hold-up plays once. Every layoff and pass he made from a hold-up position found a teammate. He lost the ball once where he turned inside and Saliba got his foot to the ball. I'm not saying this guy is R9. I'm not saying this guy is absolutely mesmerizing, but his hold-up play today was decent. This is why you don't see him, though. We seldom pass the ball to him. We, over the course of this season, are not working the ball into that position. So I'll give you an example today. Arsenal weren't trying to attack, everyone says. Are we all going to consistently agree on that? Arsenal weren't trying to attack? In a Arsenal team that weren't trying to attack, Kai Havertz in the same area got 38 touches of the ball today. Yet in the team that's attacking, we fed the ball into Rasmus just 17 times. I'm not saying he hasn't got to improve. But when you say he offers nothing, so we're not passing, we're not working the ball to him. We also get the ball out wide how many times today? And all of them were guilty of this, including Ahmad, that was great. When are we whipping the ball into the box? When are we trying to cross it? We're not doing it. They don't know what to do. And again, I'm not saying he's beyond criticism. I'm not. But I think this focus on Rasmus, like he's the issue. He is a traditional number 9. He's going to get the ball and feed it off and run into goal-scoring positions. But if we're not feeding the ball into goal-scoring positions, you're right. He's anonymous. It's not his fault. It's how we play football, Staffy.
It doesn't matter because the striker can get involved in the game regardless of getting the ball in the box or not. Because you're talking about
that's not his game. That's not his game. That's not his game.
And that's why I have an issue with it. Because why did we pay this much money for a striker who can't get involved in the game?
So why do you hang on a minute, but you're having to go. This is what doesn't make sense when fans do this. You're having to go at the player for a manager and the club buying the wrong profile. It makes no sense.
I don't have an issue with the player. I always said that.
You mentioned the player.
Yeah, I said he's non-existent, but I didn't blame him. I know that's his game, but why did we sign him? Why are we playing him that way? Why are we playing as a hold-up striker?
But that wasn't the conversation that you started.
What do you mean? That's been my conversation all season. He doesn't get involved in games, and a part of it is because he's not good enough for it. So why did we sign this profile if he can't do that? You're talking about touches. You're talking about touches from Havertz. Havertz knows how to get involved in the game outside of just being in the box. He's not a poacher.
But the thing is, he's clearly been instructed to stay in that spot because if we don't see him drift out, right? And
this is why we're carrying him. So this still feeds into my point.
No, but like it clearly, here's my thing. Hojlund is very raw. So is Garnacho. You made a tweet about Garnacho and Hamad, which I don't agree with. You shouldn't. We need to stop comparing our.
What was the tweet? What was the tweet? What was the tweet?
Ahmad is what people think Garnacho is.
I'm not lying about that.
No, but the thing is, Staffy. One, they're two different players with two different profiles but we need in the team in general, right? Two, we need to stop using our own players to beat another player within our own team. We need to stop doing that because it's not helped us as a team.
Y'all did that with Sancho, but I can't do that with Garnacho. All right.
But
you criticize it. Why do you do it?
Sancho to
criticize what?
We don't see it. But anyway, that's besides the point. But my main point is this: Garnacho, Hojlund, those two today. People say that poor games non-existent and stuff. Why have they not improved? We are putting out young players who have got raw talent and ability, just putting them out there and saying, "Go be the guy," when they're clearly raw as hell. Ten Hag has not developed these guys good enough, in my opinion. And Rasmus Hojlund, you're talking about like he's not getting involved in the game. He clearly is not being told to, as much as it's not part of his game, he's also clearly being told to stay in that area. Be on your back on the centre back, and that's what we're going to bring you into play.
Why are we making so many excuses? I don't understand why we make so many excuses for this.
It's not an excuse.
This is not good enough.
It's not an excuse. It's a reason.
We're always saying, but the manager this, but this is not his game. Bro, just say that the player is not good enough. Why do we have an issue?
Hang on a minute, but a minute ago, Staffy, you're sort of talking about, people play well when the manager gets it right, but yet you don't have that same energy ever for players you don't like. No, but
that's not what I said. I said when you played the player in his position. So I said when we played a 6, our midfield looked better.
So if you play,
that is different than saying
no, it's not. So if you play a player like Hojlund, he needs chances created for him. If you buy him and play him, but your system isn't good enough to generate the chances, that's still on the manager, surely.
No, because there's circus out there that can get involved in the game even when they don't score goals. We've seen that.
But
we've seen that from so many strikers.
Okay, so ask for somebody else. But the point is, we have bought a striker that needs service. The manager hasn't created a system that's creating that service. That's the issue, because Haaland, okay, if he wasn't having chances created for him, wouldn't do very much else in the game. So if you've got a team that's not creative, Haaland isn't the guy that you need. We've bought a guy that needs chances to be created. We're not creating them because I'll give you an example. We know all season we've all been asking for a Mad. We all think different things of him, but we've all been asking for him. We only now just got it. I know some of that was down to injuries. Imagine he was given 10 games, 15 games where he could learn and build relationships. The players know when to make runs because they know what a player is going to do. It would give us more opportunities. I think I understand that you don't like Rasmus and I can accept it, but it's this sort of notion that we're blaming him for not having his game tailored to by the club.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying he's not good enough. Why can I not say he's not good? That's not necessarily blaming you.
How can any player show that they're good enough in this system?
From a neutral perspective, yeah, I think both are true. I think obviously he's not getting the service that he should be getting, and obviously that hinders his game. But I think what Staffy's saying in terms of his contribution outside of that is non-existent, and it is fair criticism that we give to Haaland, right? When City are not giving him the ball, but I'm just saying it's generally spoken about in the media, anyways. Is that what does he offer when he's not being, when he's not being serviced, right? And it's, we've seen Thierry Henry do like long little segments on how he can improve and what he needs to bring and add to his game. And I think both are true. I think he does require service, but at the same time, you also need a player that you can't just be reliant on other players to do things.
It's excuses. It's excuses.
But the thing is, he needs a coach to show him that. Because he's being told to stay up there and battle with defenders. He doesn't drop deep because he's not told not to drop deep.
And this is exactly
no one's showing it. Sorry, Terry. No one's showing these little changes in his game because he's been playing the same the entire season. For me, that says more about the coaching and the development of the player than it does the player itself.
And that's the element, Staffy. I know you call it an excuse, Staffy, and I understand that. But this is the logic that I've been asking this question for 5-6 years, and no one can give me a straight answer. If the technically gifted players are not improving, how are we not being more sympathetic with the less technically gifted? If really gifted players are being damaged by a lack of coaching, why are we turning on the Hojlund? Surely we have to keep the same energy that he's not being developed. Why not?
I hear that. This is not my point. This is
but it's counter to your
it is not, because I'm not blaming him. No.
Answer that question.
I am not blaming him. Okay. I can't answer because I'm not blaming him for not developing. This is not my issue. He would be a better striker in other teams. I agree with that. Because there's better teams out there that will create more chances and he'll get a few more goals. This is not the criticism that I have of him. The criticism that I have of him that he's not good enough. There's about 10 players 10 strikers that I can name in the league that offer you more outside of just being reliant on goal scoring opportunities and service being fed into them. And this is where I have an issue. Yes, I'm not fully blaming him. I'm saying he's not good enough. Because we recruited a striker to do stuff that he's not good enough at doing. So you can either blame him, you can blame the manager, you can blame the recruitment. I don't care who you blame. The fact that there's players out there like Isaac, players like Solanke, players like Ollie Watkins that get involved in the game outside of just goal scoring and chances created, and I see that we spent 70 million on him and he does not have that element in the game, I have to come out here and call it not good enough. Because I've seen Ahmad who gets no minutes. Today he was involved in the game. Garnacho, why give criticism? Yeah, he had a bad game today. I'm surprised that Arsenal fans are saying this for the first time. But to be fair, he had Ben White on ropes today. There's a few times that he got past him. His decision-making was shocking. There's a reason why I didn't talk about Garnacho and I talked about him. Because people who always accuse me of agendas, there's a reason why I didn't talk about him. Yes, his decision-making was shocking, but I already know that. But the fact that he got past his defender a few times, to me, that's like, all right, you're doing something. You're getting involved in the game. You're being threatening on the left. Hojlund does not offer us anything on the pitch. Whether you want to blame him or the manager, that's not my job. Okay,
so I hear you. I hear your point there. You didn't quite answer my question while you're not giving as much why people criticize the manager for not developing technically gifted players, but we don't have that energy for players we don't like. But when you mention like Dominic Solanke, great example. It's an impeccable example. Last season when he walked, ended the season on 6 league goals. Why were Man United fans not asking for a player with his overarching play to come to our club? I'll tell you why. Because he was in a system that wasn't particularly good and he didn't look very good. This season, new manager, excellent system, pound for pound. Suddenly, Dominic Solanke's looking like a better player. Why was everybody laughing 2 years ago when I said Spurs were better off spending money on Ollie Watkins versus Richarlison? It was getting laughed at by everybody. Gerrard was there. Prior to Gerrard, it was what's his name? Who's that ginger dude? He used to play for Dean Smith.
Dean Smith.
Suddenly, he used to play for Leyton Orient. Suddenly, they bring in Unai Emery. The system comes alive. Everyone's like, Ollie Watkins is a baller. No one was calling these players good before the system improved. I'm not stating that Rasmus Hojlund is the best number 9 in the world, but I find it intoxicatingly frustrating that we do this all the time as Man United fans. We pick and choose which players are hurt by the system and manager and which ones are just shit. And I don't understand how the energy changes so dramatically depending whether you like the player personally or not. It's crazy to me. Scott McTominay is nowhere near as good as Paul Pogba. If Paul Pogba was hurt by the inconsistencies at the club, of course Scott McTominay was as well. He's not even as good. We have to keep the energy the same, man. Come on, guys. We surely...